in our show. So whoever's there was a few of us. Hey, Fana, welcome. Anyways, welcome everybody. This is Playmakers. Doc, over to you.
Hey, welcome everybody. It's so good to be here. T-Town, I've been talking about this for a little while, talking with some of you in the chat about this. And we've got our first guest, Rox Titan, in the house on deck, ready to come in. But yeah, just like T-Tow, the big vision is let's get the community together. Let's analyze some files, some Echo Replay files. Let's get in the game. Let's have some fun, and it's going to be very interactive. So all the folks in the chat, I hope you've got your questions ready because we're gonna be looking to you. And yeah, thank you to the JG for the video intro, and also Shay for that dope beat. That's pretty sick music.
And also our big shout out to Newton Dad helping us right now. You can't see him yet, but he's here with us and definitely the MVP making all this happen.
Totally. Also, it is International Women's Day, so happy International Women's Day to all the ladies out there. You definitely deserve some special recognition, not just on this day, every day, but a special shout out for today.
Yes, this is something my wife's been telling me all day about. We just got her. We got her some special stuff for today. So, all right, let's introduce Rox. Let's get him in here.
So welcome,
Welcome.
Rox. Needs very little to no introduction, but of course has been one of the masterminds behind the team now known as Ignite, formerly Joker, and of course on Ace put up an incredible show in the recent Challengers Cup. Was very fun to watch, and yeah, looking forward to seeing more from you. Welcome to the show, Rox.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
So, in terms of to start the segment, we're just gonna sort of chat, do some like quick little interview, get some history, just some Q&A, get some more personal information, behind the player. And what, Doc? Do you have a question you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Rox, start at the beginning. Like, how did you find out about Echo? Like, what was that moment where you like first dipped in and like started playing? Like, yeah, tell us about that.
It was way back the I think it was either October or November 2017. I just kind of got a CV1, not for Echo or anything. I didn't know about it before I got the headset. I just kind of thought VR was cool. It was finally like the consumer version was out. It was consumer ready. It wasn't a dev kit anymore. And so I hopped in, just started downloading all the free games on the Oculus platform, and there were only I think like three or four at the time. It was like Echo, and I don't even remember the other ones, but I think I tried Echo first or second, and immediately fell in love just the first time I loaded into the lobby.
Yeah, so tell me more about that. So you're in the lobby, you're moving around. I mean, did it feel? How was it? How did the movement feel? Did it feel natural? Did it feel foreign? Like, what was your mind? What were you thinking?
Well, I mean, the movement was crazy. The lobby was a lot different back then because people could fly up to you in your little capsule you spawn in, and then back then you used to have to like reach up and pull like a lever that was on top to release yourself because you were locked in. You couldn't move, so you didn't really get to feel the locomotion right away. So you had to people would fly up to you, and then like, hey, you gotta pull this. They'd teach you how to get out because you didn't know how to, you're stuck there for a while. They didn't even like have a tutorial for getting out of the spawn spot. So you had to have people come up and help you. But yeah, it was cool. Like two or three people, it was awesome back then because every time somebody would join in, everybody kind of knew that you had to unleash the new players because they were just stuck. So people would fly up to you like, "Hey, you got to reach up here and pull this so you can actually play." And so you had to grab that. It was just immediately greeted by like three or four friendly people, just like excited to get you into the game. It was really awesome. It was magical.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's like the lone echo thing, right? Like when you go through the tutorials, that
Mm-hmm.
little bar on the pull top.
Yeah, exactly.
Did not know they used to have that. That's very funny that there was no tutorial and you're stuck there.
There
So,
was a tutorial, but there wasn't a pull the bar tutorial. So you just kind of had to either look up and see that there was something to pull, or had somebody fly over and help you.
what was, uh, like when you so once you pull the bar, was it the same system where like you go private, you can go pub? Like was that still the same for you when you started?
Uh, Yeah, I started playing after they added private matches and stuff. So that wasn't something originally in the game, but I joined like shortly after that was added. Shortly after parties were added as well. And yeah, so I could do pubs, privates, whatever. I didn't ever add anybody until like I think I hit like 50 and then played for like another month or two before I had people like that actually added as friends. I was just solo queuing all the time.
So
That's so cool. So you're moving around. Like, tell me about the moment where you first learned to regrab. Like, how long did that take, and what was like, when did that happen?
I remember it very specifically actually because I was taught by two players, or at least one of the two players who's still active in the EU community. I was like level like 32 or 33, and I got into a pub back when pubs were 3v3 with Ryback 08, I think, and then Viatrex was the other one. And they were duo queued, they were playing whatever. And I'm like near the East Coast, so it wasn't terrible ping, but I was on EU servers, and they were like, listen, you're gonna grab onto us, and then just do what we do. And they started regrabbing like to the disc. They won the joust by a landslide because they were good players even back then. And I was like, oh, that's people are just going fast now. And so eventually, I don't know, they were even on the high ping. It was really easy to regrab with them. They were really good at it even way back then. And so it was something I picked up. Like I didn't know about it at all until that match. And then I played that one 5 minute pub and immediately just like it got it. I clicked. I had some really good teachers, I guess, but yeah, it was a really fast learning for me.
That's super helpful. I didn't even know about regrabbing until I was like level 30.
Yeah, that's about when I learned as well.
Some bad habits.
for sure. S- So this is a question that came up last night in like Two Cool Queens, which is like your Echo parent, right? Since you're talking about learning to regrab, do you have anyone or a few people that you would like consider almost like your Echo mentors or like your Echo parents?
Obviously, Vitrex and Ryback taught me to regrab. The first person who added me as a friend, who was like, "Hey, you're pretty good. You should add me. We should keep some time." Was Grumpy's Broom, and that was like a little after that Christmas, right after I hit 50. And the first person who like tried me out for a team, and they actually told me that he said, "Listen, like it was right after season 1 of ESL ended. I was talking with Simi and I was trying out some stuff with him, and he told me he's like going into season 2. He's like, I'm joining Eclipse. I'm not going to team with you, but if you don't get on a good team, then somebody made a wrong decision, and then he went and joined a team, and I didn't end up getting on a team. So, but you know, I was the go-to sub for that season. I was jumping around, and I think I ended up joining a team for like the last like 3 or 4 weeks of the season eventually. But yeah, that was a really good feeling back then when I was still just like a pretty much a new player, like less than 1,000 games, and having a guy who would go on to be a world champion in the next 6 months tell me that was really nice.
Amazing. What season was that? What league was that?
That was ESL, so it was after
Okay.
ESL season 1, or it was called I think it was called VRCL in season 1, and then they changed it to just VRL for season 2, and then they that was yeah, and then I ended up eventually getting on ESL or VRL, whatever they called it for season 3. I ended up on Squid with QL Young and Speedy V.
Oh wow. So you got hooked up with some goats like pretty early.
Yeah, well back then the community was so small that there was basically like all those people, Simi and Grumpy, QL Speedy, were all people just met playing pubs because that was just how the community and how everything was. You'd go into a pub and it would be either low level players or level 50s who were in ESL. And there wasn't like a large pool of level 50s that are kind of like a large like if you were level 50 you were good back then because that was just like the skill ceiling was a lot lower than it is now,
Yeah.
but that was the highest there was. So that was what it was. I don't know.
That's cool, man. So yeah, so I guess tell me like you're playing an ESL, ESL's going on. How did you eventually get hooked up with Joker at that point?
Well, I took so ESL season 3 ended, and then we did the that like summer of 2018, I believe it was, or 2019, where it was PC League for a while because ESL was kind of we didn't know what was going on with that, and then eventually in the spring, VRML started with the preseason, and I was gonna be on Illuminati with Hewell and Speedy, but I was going to college. That was my first semester, so I was going to the dorm. I didn't know what my situation was gonna be yet. So then, listen, like I might not be able to play. I might not even have a play space. Just find somebody else. I'll try and get back into comp scene once I have things more figured out. And so I kind of took. I didn't play at all in preseason. I think I got like one or two sub matches in just for the badge when I was like on a home on break or something. And then once season one came around, I was just league subbing a bunch because I actually I got into a, single dorm, and so I was league subbing a bunch in season one. Ended up on Flare with Game like at the very end of the season for postseason as a postseason sub, and then he got picked up by Joker, and I started up with Zero, which was originally me, Sneaky, Zenith, and Voodoo, and eventually added Andy to that roster. And that went through season two, and then in the season two off season, Zero decided we all had different stuff we were getting involved with. Zenith was joining, I think it was Kango's at the time. I don't remember. Andy was on Synapse or Four Kings, whichever one it was, and then I joined. I joined Joker as a sub, and that was how that happened.
As you were talking about all these different teams like Flare and Squid before, was there any moments that were really memorable, like either joining a team or being on a team? Because there was a few teams that I've gone through a few teams that Lee subbed as well. There's like a few moments that like, man, this is gonna be like my buddy for life.
Yeah. Squid was a really fun team. It was. I remember we had like it started off a little bit rough. You know, we're still getting used to each other, whatever, as all new teams do. Uh, but QL and me had been really close friends for a while before that. He'd been pretty much like the closest person to me in Echo until that point. So we started the team together, got Speedy on. Like I remember we had like one towards the end of the season because yeah, we'd been like floating around fourth or fifth on the leaderboards, kind of not really where we wanted to be. We were trying to get the top three. We never ended up getting there, but we were on like fourth, fifth ish, and then we had one run where on the week there was one weekend where we beat Eclipse, and then we beat Kangorillas, and then we beat Joker, and then we beat 11-5. And in the last game, we lost to the last game of the weekend. We lost to OG Ignite, which was Far and Franz and VTS and them. That was like the one game we lost, which was our easiest game of the night by far, and we choked and lost
Shout
it.
out Bar.
We choked and lost it. They beat us, and it was a really like even though we lost, it still felt really cool. Like actually like showing that we could beat those other top teams and like proving that we like belonged of where people were kind of where we put ourselves. And that was a really nice moment. And then we ended up getting knocked out of land contention by Joker, who was still on the come up back then. But eventually, they ended up did going to land, so we did lose to somebody who went to land, which made it a little bit didn't sting as much. And yeah, then yes, VRML started, and the rest is history.
Cool. I got at least one more question before we maybe. I think we've got a few like echo like specific questions. But Rocks, like you're such an amazing player. Obviously, proving that like for anyone who didn't know from the OG days, like with Ace, right? But you took a bench role for a really long time, right? What was that process like? Like, what was that experience like? What made you want to do that? And yeah, just like talk about that a little bit.
I didn't. I was looking around, like checking. I was asking around between season yeah, VRML season 1 and 2, or no, between 2 and 3 because Zero split up. And I was like talking around, like people already had rosters mostly figured out. Kung reached out to me, and he gave me the absolute like an offer I couldn't refuse. He told me that we would win the season and that I would get a $20 VR tube coupon, which I as an avid onward player I couldn't refuse. Uh, and that was his offer to me, and so I was like, yeah, screw it, I'll join. Ryan had been having some kind of back problems at the end of the season, so I thought, maybe like a little part of my brain was like, maybe I'll end up with a spot on the main roster if like things go poorly. It's a little bit dark, but it was something that I was thinking about. Like they did need another person on the roster, and so I joined the team, and then for the first like 2 or 3 months on the team, I was basically just I was just playing in Ryan's place because he was still recovering from surgery and stuff. And so that like 2 or 3 month moment was like how I really like got that was my biggest improvement like stretch by far. Besides like maybe that might even top going from level 1 to 50 was just playing with them on the main roster for a couple months. It's just like learning the roles, learning how the team went. I remember feeling completely useless the first couple of weeks, and then eventually felt like I could actually hold my own. Eventually, like I got up to speed. Eventually, feel like I could make plays, and it was just such a like it was so nice to be able to learn alongside those guys. And I feel like I got so good so fast that I absolutely credit my position now to that like 2 3 month period.
That's so dope to hear. I know T-Tao's got some questions, but I mean, like sharing knowledge, like playing with people who are better than you, and like leveling everyone up is like, I mean, that's how you learn. And that's one of the big focuses of this show. You know, like you and like so many other folks have that knowledge from that personal contact with those players, and we're hoping to like keep bringing that down to everyone. I mean, anyone who's watched VRML this season and last season, like you're seeing like bronze, silver, gold tier teams like with serious regrabbing stacks. Like it's pretty cool to see. So anyway, that's cool to hear. And yeah, Tito, I know you had some questions about like some drills and such. You want to? I've been
Yeah,
monopolizing
yeah,
the
yeah,
guest time.
yeah. No, the biggest thing I shout out is like as you were talking about like vibe checks, like teaching you how to regrab is like we want to do that for like for the players now that don't even know all this stuff that's happening. Like there's so much stuff that I'm learning just from talking with you, talking to a bunch of other people that I'm like wow, I wish I knew this when I was like just starting out. So it's like we sort of want to do that. We want to be the bros.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I am not super active in terms of like reaching out and like putting myself out there and like doing that stuff. But I've always been huge into like helping people out with DMs and stuff. Like people just hit me up, ask for me to look at a VOD or whatever, and I'm always, happy to do that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's been great. I love doing this kind of stuff.
100%. In terms of any other questions, I think I guess one of the major questions, as we're talking about going from, your ESL days going into Ignite and that 2 month stretch, and now like I sort of want to talk about how's the experience with Ace? Like how is that? How's it
Uh,
going for you?
it's a little bit more stressful because now I'm not in a position where I'm like, one, I'm a sub, so I'm not like always like getting ready for matches, always preparing, always doing that stuff. Uh, and just going from like a position where I was kind of like, I was on the bench, right? It was like wasn't like super involved with it. Obviously, I would like talk with them about the games and stuff, like before, during, after, whatever. But being like the guy in charge, the guy who's supposed to like be trying to give directions, is a different. It's an adjustment for sure. I'm not totally uncomfortable with the position, but it's definitely still been an adjustment. It's definitely been something that I've had to step into. But in terms of the players, I've been friends with all of them for years. Like Selena's, she's getting her license in like a couple weeks, and I knew her when she was 12 and back at the beginning of Echo. So I've literally grown up with her. So like, it's so cool to be able to just like play with these guys and have fun together. It's awesome.
So in terms of talking about Ace and talking about how you've been playing it for a while, I think we're gonna take a look at some Ace gameplay soon. Anything else you want to add in, Doc, before we transition to some of those plays?
Oh man, I got so many questions, but let's hop to the game. I know the folks want to get into the games. Yeah, let's have some fun. So, Rocks, we're gonna be looking. You sent us a bunch of files, and I think we're gonna be looking at this Ace versus Ignite matchup. First, can you just like clue us in? Like, where did this start? What was the yeah? Where is this coming from?
This is just a warm up scrim for our double header last week. So we were just kind of warming up with Ignite. I've always really liked scrimming Ignite. Back on Zero, even in season two, they were easily our number one scrim partners. We'd probably scrim them 50% of the time, and everybody else the other 50%. So I don't know. I've always loved playing with and against them. It's a lot of fun, and so yeah, I don't know. I just thought I've always thought they were a really good warm up. You know, if you can hold your own against Ignite in a warm up, you'll be fine against whoever you're playing the match against. That's always been my mentality about it.
I mean, that's for sure. That's for sure. For those of you who don't know, this tool that we just jumped into, this is called the Echo Replay Viewer. This is an open source tool. It's contributed by a few folks, including Sneaky Evil, Zenith, I Blew It Sports, and NTS Friends. And I'm going to drop a link in the chat. There's all kind of you can download it and have fun there. But I mean, you could see like the arena looks it looks identical to I mean, I don't know identical, but it's getting to be really close to the look and feel of the real arena. And we're going to be able to fly around here and check out the show. Fast forward, slow down, rewind. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sorry if it's a little herky jerky. The controls are just slightly different from the camera controls I'm used to. So I'll try to bring you the best views. But in any case, the first play we want to look at is a defensive joust from you guys. Rox, were you able to look at these? Were you able to kind of check these out prior? Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I took down a little bit of notes for each one, but not too much, so I'd still be going in kind of fresh. But yeah, I've looked at them before.
Cool. All right. So maybe what we'll do is we'll just start and we'll just play it up. We'll watch the play and then we'll rewind it and kind of break it down. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
And feel free, hop in, like pause. I mean, yeah, we wanna hear your thoughts about what's going on here. So, all right, here we're gonna kick it off. So, you're coming out, and Ignite is in orange, and Ace is in blue. So Ignite rolls out. Game typically getting on the ceiling, and you've got Dash and Saluna in the advanced position, adding some pressure there. And then this backstack comes flying in. Rox and Rosie tag Jaywalker. He does get the pass off, but the pass is eventually going to be intercepted or picked up by Rox. And then I think I'm not sure if you guys score. It doesn't really matter at that point. Really, just wanted to focus on that initial breakdown and how you guys got to the disc. So let's rewind this here and get it reset. And then, yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on like what are you thinking? What's your process going in? Obviously, it's 5-8. You guys are in the lead at this point with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah. So one of there's two major ways to play a double stack defense, and we did the more aggressive one here, which is basically where you take both your chains and you just alternate targets, right? So we had the Saluna dash stack pressures the QB, and then me and Rosie we positioned towards the from this point of view left side of the arena. So we were obviously covering Kung's pass, so that we were taking away the Kung as an option, and that means that because we're kind of covering that by being close to him, the pass is probably either going to go to Jay or Ryan, and because Jay's a little bit closer of a pass on that cross Pac-Man, we just kind of assumed it was going to be Jay, which is we just had the read on it. And as soon as the pass came off, we pressured immediately because we just had the read on it because we were blocking off Kong. Ryan was a little bit worse, and so we pressured Jay right away. He did get the pass off, and then but unfortunately the pass was a little bit off, and they ended up missing it. But that's kind of the point of playing this super aggressive double stack, is you try and put absolute just like insane amount of pressure on the QB right away, insane amount of pressure on this first pass right away. And if this pass had succeeded, the idea of it is to have the two stacks alternate targets. So QB is stack 1, first pass is stack 2, second pass, if the pass had gotten to Kung and he caught it, would have been on Saluna and Dash to go pressure that. Then me and Rosie would have pressured to either probably Ryan or the back pass of the game maybe. And we just alternate which stack is pressuring which target so that the stacks are coming on super quick, which is a lot faster than having one stack pressuring around. And then hopefully the idea is to eventually, because of all the pressure, force a mistake, which is what ended up happening here on the second pass. The pass was a little bit off, and so we were able to collect it, capitalize on it. Unfortunately, made it to a turnover, but this was basically the exact idea of how the aggressive double stack is supposed to work. And we did end up getting a turnover, but just kind of messed it up on the transition.
Ooh, Doug, not fish, IQ 200. Yeah, for sure, rocks. That was awesome breakdown. Everyone's taking notes in the chat. Let me see if I can slow it down and see if I can parse what you were saying here. So, what you're saying is you've got two stacks. So you've got the Dash and Saluna stack over here, and then this is the I guess Rosie and Rock stack in the back, and you're alternating pressure. So that means the first stack is pressuring disc. So in this case, that's game, and the second stack is gonna pressure the first pass. Now, one of the things I heard you say that I thought was really interesting is you said you're starting off on this side, so you're taking away this pass. So you're kind of baiting. You're baiting this and waiting on it. Is that right?
Yeah, so yeah, if we're playing on one side of the arena, we're intentionally leaving the other side open, which I think in one of the later clips, Ignite does the exact same thing to us and gets the pick and scores. So this is something that a lot of teams use whenever they're running double stack. But that's like basically one of the quintessential things of running an aggressive backstack is you want to like try and limit the options for where the first pass is going to go. So that way you can dive it as fast as possible, and that's what we did here.
Cool. Yeah, that's super helpful because I mean when I think of like going to the middle like going to double diamond and then basically being ready to react both cases, but by cutting off this pass already, you're already like in line and ready to get this one. Is that, I guess that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Cool. So then the first pass goes, and so what you're saying is here, Jay is now trying to pass over here to Kung, and if that pass had connected, that's now on Saluna and Dash to get to, and then I guess if the next pass would be over to, I guess Jay or Ryan must be over here somewhere. So then you would go and react to that pass. Is that right?
Yeah, you just try and alternate just alternate every pass, and then obviously if one stack gets killed, you got to call that out, and then the other stack that's still alive uh, backs off a little bit until both stacks get back together. But that's generally how the play is supposed to work anyway.
Also, Rosie Hope is saying that she's the brain of the backstack.
She, if she was the brain of the back stack, I don't know if we would have. Never mind.
Ooh, spicy,
That's right.
spicy. Um, cool. T-Tal, any questions you have?
Yeah. So one of my questions is, how do you decide to run this more aggressive backstack 2-2 play? Is there anything you read up on? You're like, oh, they're doing this, and you're like, okay, we should go more aggressive.
Um, no, usually you kind of play it by ear. We don't always start with an aggressive backstack. You kind of just play it based on the other team's rollout. An aggressive backstack usually is pretty trash against a really quick rollout. Like if they go for a quick relay play or something, you can get a lot of three scored on you that way. But because they were rolling out in a way that all their players were on this side of the arena, it works really well because there's not really any major threat going on of them taking a long three on us. So we can afford to have all four players in the orange zone.
That's interesting. That's super interesting. Um,
No, actually,
okay.
Selena, sorry to cut you off, but Selena right there did something that I think is really doesn't happen enough. Is after I caught this disc, I had who's that Ryan right on me, but Selena kind of just came in and just took him out. Just kind of we just call that bodyguarding. If you go back a little bit, is where she takes him out right after I take the disc.
Oh, okay.
I check it. This Ryan's coming on me, and Selena jumps right on him and kills him. Basically, immediately gives me a little bit more space. Because he probably would have. I don't know if he would have got the grab, but he definitely would have pushed off wall, and I would have had a lot less time to react. So she recognized that I had the disc, and then takes that out with the bodyguards, trying to create space for your teammates is super important. It's something that not a lot of people, not enough people do, I think.
Nice. Yeah, and so for those that don't know, this little like pot like I don't know, fireworks display is how the replay is showing you that somebody got stunned out. So yeah, so that's Saluna stunning Ryan out. So I guess like one last question here. Obviously, you get the disc. Ryan is stunned out, so you have a little bit of time. You press forward, and you basically, I mean, obviously, immediately throw it into the hands of a waiting game. Obviously, I guess you were going for this pass to Dash.
Yeah, I
Any
remember this
thoughts there
play.
on how you could have done that a little bit differently to maintain possession?
Uh, I think I'm gonna go ahead and blame this one on Dash because because Saloon and Rosie, I didn't feel like passing it. I didn't think that was a good option because I had Ryan was cutting back towards them, and a little bit earlier, Kung was kind of moving to the side to Ryan, but so Rosie's kind of open right now. But like half a second earlier, Kung was just hard covering both of them, and so I like kind of looked to the right. I was like, they're not open. I saw Dash's name through the Geo, but I obviously you can't see the other team's names through the Geo. So I just kind of like was hoping the Dash was open and tried to get it through the bottom dam, but obviously he wasn't. And I remember being asking like what I should have done there to the team, and Dash. The reason I blamed him is because he said, "Yeah, I probably should have told you I was covered. I didn't really have enough time though." So, but yeah, that was I probably I guess I don't know maybe should have gone for a clear through the top. If I had bounced it off of the top of the arena, then Saloon and Rosie I think already have the stack together already. If they're doing it well, they should be. They are. And they could have gotten there in time.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So basically, if Dash had called out like right here that he's covered by game, what you're saying is like there's no one. Well, and then Jay does bounce to the top of the double
Yeah,
diamond, so might not have worked out even then. Looks like he does. Yeah, he bounces down once you make the pass. But
yeah,
even if you had made that clear high, Jay might have been able to break that.
yeah,
But even if not, there's at least some kind of a clear. And then on the other side, like you mentioned, Saluna and Rosie are already getting together, and so there's no one in the whole back part of the arena. If you get it past those two players, Rosie and Saluna can just swoop that up and score it.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's maybe T-Tal, you got anything else, or should we go to the next little clip?
I think we can go to the next clip. The one thing it sounds like is, there was no line of sight, right? You just saw the name through the geo and they're just going for the pass. So I think it was
Right.
essentially, what was it? Making the best out of a bad sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't feel like I had the other two open. I guess I had more time since Kung and Ryan were stacking together in
Mhm.
hindsight, but Ryan had just gotten punched off on me, so I was still kind of I felt pressured, so I was looking for a quick pass, and Dash looked open, but wasn't the case.
Okay. So the next play I think is just kind of like um, you guys are down 8-12 at this point. So they've gone on a 7-0 run, and there's a minute and 26 seconds left. So time's kind of pressuring. And if I recall correctly, you guys are going to get the disc and kind of immediately get into a nice passing attack here. So let's just watch it and see what we see. So the disc goes through. Jay gets it, goes for the shot, but oh my goodness, what a save! So Luna jumping in goal, sends it through. The stacks fly in. Disc is gonna go wide. Dash and Rocks get the disc. And then here, you've kind of, this is like in transition. So you and Rocks, or Dash and you are like already together. And like kind of clump or yeah, just like not great offensive spacing because obviously it's in the transition. Rosie is
Mhm.
in the middle of the arena, and where is Saluna? Saluna is down here. So yeah, you guys now need to get into position. So you immediately start separating. Dash goes backwards rather than forwards because he knows he doesn't have numbers. Rocks is on game, kind of holding. Looks like game might be shielding. So
Yeah, he
you're
was holding a block.
like holding on him. Yeah, game drops his shield, and then it looks like you get him. You pop him. Um, Dash sends it up to Rosie. And now immediately your spacing is already better. Rosie is the reset. Saluna is open on the left shoulder area. Dash has migrated to the bow tie, and you are over on the right side tied up with game. Pass goes to the open player. That's Saluna. Saluna is gonna go sideways again, not pressing, holding, waiting, back to Rosie. beautiful reset, and now you've got like your full offensive attack. You've got them completely spread out. You've got Saluna on one side, you've got Dash on the floor, and you are somewhere over here on the wall. 2 players come out. That's Game and Jay. That leaves the play open. Saluna gets the disc. Saluna holds, delivers down to the boot, and Dash is going to go up and wait, pass over to Saluna, back to Rosie. On the bow tie, Rosie gets popped, but does go and Saluna gets the disc, delivers it over to Rox. Rox is going to wait, go sideways, eventually gets it to Rosie. Oh, this is a longer clip. Rosie immediately to the backside, and some beautiful styling. Saluna finishes. So all right, break this play down for us, Rox.
So the first one was just a good save by I think that was Saloon and Rosie's stack getting back and saving that long clear. They got there in time. They got the good clear off, and then me and Dash were able to chase it. Once me and Dash ended up chasing it down, I did that thing again where I just started. Wait, I didn't really have anything else to do, so I started bodyguarding him. I just grabbed game, and even though he was holding the block, I just held onto him because as long as he's holding block, he can't really move because he's got both of his hands up. He can't really direct his wrist thrusters. So he's just kind of sitting there floating with me. This is just giving Dash some more space, some more time. To try and get the reset off. Eventually, he does get it off to Rosie. And a lot of the big theme of this play that I have written down is just that we were all just kind of covering each other, bailing each other out and stuff. Because it wasn't the cleanest offense. It took a while, obviously. But we did keep possession the whole time, and so we did pretty good. Rosie juking out the player there. And yeah, we were just kind of slowing it down. Ignite likes to run the double chain defense. So you had Jay and Game chaining around. So you're kind of trying to see if we can get them broken up, get them baited out. And that's why on this pass that goes to Rosie, I think in the next pass, the bow tie. Yeah, it does go to her real quick. And then or no, it goes to Dash and then back to Rosie. Because again, the bubble's a little bit full. Also, one thing that's kind of going on right now is while this entire play is happening, pretty much since the beginning of it, Ryan and Kung haven't been necessarily together like they are right now. But Ryan is kind of just floating around inside the bubble, and Kung sitting in goal. Ryan's kind of like pressuring. He's been jumping back and forth between the blocks and the shield and the shoulders and stuff, kind of just playing the edge of bubble, and also staying close to Kung, so that if we ever do make a mistake, like in this situation, if Saluda hadn't been able to cover this, the stack got split, but the stack did get split at the cost of basically the disc being loose. And you can see as soon as the disc got split, Kung and Ryan got together, and so they were ready to try and capitalize on it. If it was a little bit slower, they would have been right on top of that. And again, Rosie's coming towards me right there, so I bonked the disc on the roof, and she's there to recover it for me. When Rosie, she got kind of when we lost the disc for a second there off of Rosie on the bow tie. It wasn't actually terrible because she still got the pass off, and also because like the reason that we're playing it kind of risky like this, kind of these tight passes right here, the reason she waited this long for the stack to get on her is because we're still dealing with this defensive Joker stack or just defensive Ignite stack. I'm sorry. And so you gotta try to get them as close as possible so that even though again she does like end up hitting somebody in the head here, the idea behind this whole like waiting this long is that she wants to get a stun on somebody. And you can see even though she gets like the I guess game headbutts it, she gets the stun off on him as well, so that that stack's now split. And then we can start pushing forward here. Selena recovers it really nicely, gets the pass over to me. Rosie kind of bails me out when I hit the ceiling with the disc. And then we hit the pass on Selena on the backboard, and eventually, because the Ignite defense, once we got that stun on Bowtie, that was like the key. That was the key like weakness we were looking for, where the defense was a little bit scattered, and so now we can actually push instead of playing around Bowtie and playing around the back line, we start moving into bubble, and that's when you can see Dash positions outside of bubble, I'm positions outside of bubble, Selena's positions outside of bubble. As soon as we get this stun, you can see Dash kind of stays the same because he's already at the edge of bubble, but Selena starts cutting towards bubble, Rosie starts cutting towards bubble. We all start kind of moving in. And like this pass happens, and you see Selena makes this cut. Rosie was making a cut, but because I missed it, she's able to get the disc, and now they're positioned inside the bubble, and we can eventually score off of it.
Wow, cool. Great. Thank you, Rock. This is so I'm having so much fun. T-Tal chat. I don't know if y'all are digging this, but this is so freaking cool for me. So what you're saying is like because Ignite is running this chain defense. So they've got Jay and Game on the front stack, and as you mentioned, like Ryan and Kung are basically waiting as soon they're hoping for a turnover, a bobble of any kind, and they're going to be right there getting together. But meanwhile, so then your job, your idea from your offense is you want to hold the disc and wait and bait. So Rosie is holding on to the disc here, and waiting for them to get close so she can get the pass off and the stun at the same time. And so
Mhm.
even though right here the pass does get like headbutted by it looks like Game, and doesn't like go exactly as planned. But if that pass had not been headbutted, probably you guys score like super easy, right? Because you've got a 3-on-2 in the bubble. Um,
Yeah.
but but even still, even though the pass did get headbutted, because you got the stun out, you broke up their stack, and that starts your offensive attack.
Yeah, because like you can if you're looking at it as a base level perspective, Rosie's sitting on the bottom of the bow tie, and Saluna, like the way she went is obviously the most covered pass. It's like if you look at it at a basic perspective, it's definitely the worst pass she picked. But the reason she did pick the Saluna pass because she could easily turn, go to the other side of the bottom, hit dash, go to the other side of the bottom, hit me. We're both way more open than Saluna is right now because the stack's between her and Saluna. But the reason she goes for that is because she's trying to get the stack to pressure. She's trying to jump out towards them and get that stun off. And so even though she's technically going for a worse pass, it's better in the long run because we needed that stack dead if we were going to make a serious offense.
That's so cool. She, Rosie's disagreeing.
She's the best pass because we're not in gold, but just like who is the most open? Slim is definitely not the most open. But it was the right pass. It was the right play. I'm giving you credit. Stop complaining.
Okay, so as Rosie Hope and you are talking about, looking for something to happen. Once you got that weakness, like what's going through your mind?
That we need to kind of turn up the gas and make the play happen before they get settled back into the defense. Obviously, we don't want to go too fast and make a mistake. But once we get that offense, once we get that like break on the stack, that's when we can kind of start like really looking for cuts and looking for possession on like just into the bubble somewhere. Because
So I'm
the thing with this defensive stack that Jane game have is that it's like obviously the stack can cover a lot of area, but it's harder and harder to play against the stack when you're making like especially if you guys get on top of each other. Like if me and Dash were trying to do this, what Rosie and Saloon are doing here, we might have gotten killed because we are just too close to each other. Like trying to pass back and forth with the stack between you, like with this distance, just like doesn't really work. And so that's why we kind of still played back near the bow tie. We're playing pretty spread out, so that we can like have time between pressure. Because like again, the thing with the front stack or the thing with just defensive stack in general is that the idea is all about just putting a constant pressure on and looking for a mistake. And that's also why Ryan and Kung are chained is because if Gamer Jay force a mistake here, they're immediately going to be able to get together and pressure that mistake and try and pick up that flubbed pass or that loose disc.
All right. Well, I definitely want to get to two more clips that we have because they're two rollouts that you guys run that are you guys run the same rollout. One time you get them, the other time they get you, and so I wanna run those back to back. So let me switch my viewer here, and uh, mm,
I do want to just mention I'm really loving how Rosie Hope is in the chat and just it just chiming in. I love it. That's really funny.
okay. All right. Let me get my window
Are
going
you joking though, Rosie Hope?
She's
Are
not.
you?
She's a
down.
liar. Don't believe anything she says.
Open this window.
She's not to be trusted.
She all right. I got the second file up, and we're going to the 750 mark. So I've heard this play. So Dimwee calls this play the ace play, But I noticed Ignite started running this kind of late in last season. I thought. Um,
Yeah, he calls it the ace play at game's request because the original rollout, the first place this happened was on the VRPL team Ace, which was this roster but minus dash plus game, with game as the QB, where me and Rosie would split sides, and then the QB stack was Saluna and game. And that was like the original like game came up with having a stacked QB, and I fought him a lot on it. I thought it was terrible. I thought it wouldn't work, but I ate my words because it's a pretty good rollout. Uh, and just like that was like when he came up with it originally. We ran it a bunch in that league, ended up winning the league, and then we even beat New York Kings, who ended up winning the championships. But yeah, that was the original spot. That's what they ran on when 3/4 of VRPL Ace went to the Cyclones. They ran the same thing. They won that league too. And now Ignite runs it, and we run it on Ace. And so that's kind of where that play originated, and where it's gone, and what it's accomplished.
so basically, to like uh yeah, the play is obviously you've got a regrabbing stack that comes out and working together with the disc. You have one player left, you have one player right. In this case, the pass is going to go to the left. Saluna and Rosie are regrabbing together. They pass over to Dash. Saluna does get stunned out, so Saluna and Rosie do get broken up for a second. I can see Rocks. Oh, you got so close to being a part of this play, but they just decided, ain't got time for that guy, and they just zoom. Over here, Game and Ryan do get very close to this disc, and they get there first, but they fly past it and they miss it. So those guys are human too. They do miss it. Saluna ends up getting the disc. Rosie is gonna do that bodyguarding thing, get the stun out on Ryan, which gives Saluna just enough time to do what she does best, which is uh, make big time threes. So yeah, I guess like talk us through what's going on in this play here.
So I think we got a little bit lucky that they missed that disc because they technically got there first, but they were a little bit errant with the chain, I guess, and ended up missing it. But yeah, I think so. This play, I don't know. I thought it was kind of messy. I think there's two things that, or there was two ways this should have gone that probably would have been a little bit cleaner, in my opinion. And that was when, as soon as Rosie got split here, like after she splits off and Selena gets the pass off to Dash, you can see Rosie's kind of flying on, and she stops on Double Diamond here, or on, not on Diamond, on Bowtie. I think either she should have gone forward to Double Diamond and killed that stack, because their stack gets together on Double Diamond, and then I would have, because you saw I barely missed Luna on the chain there. Either Rosie should have killed that stack and I should have changed with Seluna, or I should have not gone for the stack at all. I should have definitely not gone for the stack and dropped low, so Dash had a cross pass. Because me going up for this basically means that Dash has to clear. Uh,
I see. Yeah.
and yeah, so I should have dropped low and been an open pass, because right now we had two different people going for passes, or going for stacks. Uh, and yeah, if I would have dropped low and called for it, we could have gotten a pass off, and maybe it wouldn't have been a play that relied on luck, because again, Dash gets the clear off and their stack ends up missing it. But I think either of those things, if either Rosie had gone forward and challenged the stack and I changed with Selena, or if I had gone low and been open for the pass for Dash instead of forcing him to clear it, either of those would have worked. But it ended up working out anyway, so that's good. And I put down ultimately that I don't remember the comms for this play, but it probably should have come down, or it did come down and I didn't listen to Saluna calling somebody's name on who she's going to stack with. And then she's probably calling Rosie's name. If I was thinking about it, she's probably calling for Rosie, and I just was trying to get the stack because I thought it was a better option, which I do a lot. But yeah, I'm thinking that Saluna either was calling a name and I didn't listen, or she should have called a name, and then we could have done one of the other two things where Rosie pressured or I dropped low. And that's how I think the two better ways the play could have gone for us.
Okay. So yeah, so you're saying like yeah, Rosie's there. I think like at this point, basically, Rosie could have gone forward
The doubles here
and
because
break
those two
up
are getting the chain.
the
Yep.
stack here, right?
Yeah, either that could have happened, and then I would have gotten the chain with Saluna, or I should have gone low, and then Saluna, and then Rosie and Saluna chain, and I'm an open pass for dash cross bottom. Either of those would have worked. It was probably a comms thing that it didn't happen. Neither of those things happened, but it ended up working. So can't really complain too much.
Cool.
So I have a question about ace play, and I love how Sir Dimwee chimed in. It's like it's not at game's request; he just straight up told them. So one, that's funny. And two, so let's talk about the ace play. You know, if we have a newer team, especially a team that's not as maybe not as mechanically skilled as what we're seeing here, you know, what would be the ideal ace play? Like
Um,
how
well, the thing about it and the entire idea behind it is that there isn't really an ideal way for it to work out. Obviously, the ideal way is you score, but there's a lot of different ways, and it's a very so game came up with this as a very reactive play and a very adaptive play. Uh, because he doesn't like doing like preset rollouts. He really hates it and almost refuses to do it sometimes, much to the dismay of his team. But you know, I digress. Uh,
I'll spit my
but yeah, it's
water.
it's a super adaptive rollout. So basically, Saluna and Rosie can, or just they can clear it to me or Dash, and then we can immediately hit the quick clear, which is pretty much what happens here. And then we do clear it through. So it's almost like a pseudo relay, but it's not as obviously a relay because with a relay play, you can usually, especially at the top level, whenever somebody runs a relay, the defense will always somebody will always yell relay, like just like it's a relay, cover the side, pretty much immediately because it's such a like it's a very telling play when all the players on the offense go to one side, and it's a lot easier to read than something like this where you pass it to one of the sides and then either me or Dash can clear it pretty much anywhere as long as we get it through mid and we get it down to their end, like this ended up behind Pack, for example, the stack can get there. And they can take this as a really quick, fast play. Another way that it can run is if they pass to me or Dash. Me and Dash can pass it back and forth, and we can kind of move it up slower. Maybe they could the person who's not the QB, so Rosie in this situation, could pull off Saloon and go top mid, and then we can set up kind of a triangle at mid and try and push it through slower. We usually do this if they've got like a front stack with no real back stack, or like a really with either a no back stack with like a perma goalie, or a really pensive, really timid back stack. If their back stack is playing really far back, we don't really want to clear into that. So we'll try and push it up slower and split the QB stack and try and push it up that way. Another way it can work is if we're getting if the QB is getting really pressured, if they're running like a really aggressive man, me and Dash are both pressured, QB's getting pressured, is that the front stack or the QB stack can also split. So like, or Rosie could just split off to the like to the left here, to the other side of the arena, and then her and Saluna are now all of a sudden like a quick close pass for each other, where you've got kind of uh, I'm reading Rosie, sorry. Where they've got each other as quick passes, and then they can try and move it up like that. Because they've only got that's another thing that could have worked in this play technically. Is they've only got or not really. I think the play was that we did was better, but this is a situation where it would work. Is if there's only one person pressuring QB, Sloon and Rosie can split, and they can kind of pass back and forth around J and give themselves a lot more space that way as well with a close pass. But yeah, um, there's like just a couple of the different ways the play can work out. But the fact that you have the big idea is the fact that we have a QB stack allows the play to be so many different things at once. It can be slow, it can be fast. We can like push it up through mid. We can use it as a chain breaker. There's so many different things we can do, uh, and they all pretty much look exactly the same because it's just me and Dash splitting a little bit short, and then the QB stacked. And because every single play looks almost exactly the same and can play out so differently, it's a lot harder for teams to defend against because it's not like they can have a planned out defense where, okay, guys, this team always goes for really short control passes. They try to march it up the field with passing, or this team's always going for really quick plays through mid. There's not really a defense they can deploy that just like completely locks this down because it is so adaptable, and that's the whole idea behind it.
Now you're explaining this, I expect to see a lot more ace play throughout.
Oh yeah, I
Oh yeah,
love this
this
play. I
this
love this play. The first time I saw it, I immediately saw some of the potential. Like not everything you're describing, but I was like, oh wow, that's super adaptable. So it's interesting. Like, yeah, everything you say. Like you have your pass left, you have your pass right. Saluna and Rosie can either go or dribble, or they can break up and like become a pass back and forth, and then like slowly move up as like a four chain, and then like maybe two different people are going to regrab and go at that point. There's all kind of arrows you can draw on this, you know.
Yeah, it's I mean that's why it's run so often. That's why it's so effective, is because there's so much different things you can do with it. And if you're the defense, you really, until it starts happening, there's nothing you can do to predict what's going to happen really.
All right, before we go to the break, I want to run one last segment here. And this is the same exact play, looks exactly the same, except this time the backstack comes in like a ton of bricks. So let's watch this come through. So same exact play. Rosie and Saluna have the disc, dash and rocks to the sides. Whoops. So learning all the controls here.
yeah.
And
Go.
they're gonna do their baiting thing. This time, Game and Ryan kind of hold, and then bang, the backstack comes in and absolutely tanks Dash. I mean, this is
Yeah.
like absolutely brutal. Boom,
hmm
and then the easy clap finish.
Yeah. So that's this is almost exactly the same as the first clip we showed, where if you look at the way the backstack positions, they're covering me kind of by being in near proximity to me. So you can see the backstack plays on my side, so I'm not really a valid pass here. And because they know that I'm not really a valid pass, they know that the pass is pretty much always going to go to Dash. And so they can, as soon as they see Selena wind up and go for the throw, they can just dive him immediately, and he can get the get the pick off. So that's kind of basically what we did in the first clip. We didn't actually get the pick on Jay right away, but it's literally the exact same thing where you just pressure the first pass super hard. You make it so there's only really one option, and they pressured like that and got the quick steal points there.
One of the things I noticed here that was also a little different is Game and Ryan. They push backwards here, and they wait and they bait. And one of the other things I noticed, if you check this out, Kung and Jaywalker are like slowly moving forward, and Ryan and Game are actually still moving backward. They're quite far back at this point. They're all already on the bow tie, and then at this point I think there's like, I mean, they must have been communicating because Game and Ryan start going at the exact same time. Look at this. Both stacks start moving at the exact same time. The back stack is already off the blocks. They're already moving and already regrabbing before the pass is really even fully made. They're already halfway. I think they get like, yeah, Kung. Oh, it looks like, they haven't quite regrabbed yet, but maybe Jay is getting ready. Jay is wanting to regrab. Kung just hasn't pulled yet, and then Kung, as soon as the pass is made, uh, right there, actually Kung is already regrabbed once before that pass is even made. Bang. So
Yeah.
it's just like really excellent timing and communication, I think.
So one thing that's obviously a double chain defense, obviously synergy between like the stacks themselves, like within the stacks, are super important. But synergy between the stacks is super important as well, especially when they're running the same style of aggressive double chain, where one stack pressures QB, second stack pressures the first pass, third stack or first stack pressures this. You alternate pressure. You need to have coordination between the stacks. And so what was probably happening, and I kind of had the insight because I was on the team for a while, is Game probably gave a 3-2-1 countdown before he and Ryan started boosting, and that was also because Ryan and Jay are already kind of covering my side. They pretty much know the pass is going to go to Dash, and so on the 1-2-3, they basically just pulled off at the same time, right, like right behind them. So they were getting there pretty much. They got there pretty much right as the disc got there as well. Uh,
Yeah,
There's a couple of
they're already going 10 meters a second when the disc is released, basically. And they're already
Mhm.
like a good I mean, they're already like a third of the way to their target.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a couple things we could have done to prevent this. One is to maybe recognize that they're baiting the dash pass so hard, and either go for a clear somewhere. I don't really know where the clear would have been, to be honest, because if it goes to my side, they might as well just be passing to me. If it goes through mid, they'll probably get dove, and if it goes through left tunnel, it's basically the same as passing to dash. So the clear was kind of an option. I think they could have. I don't know. I guess the clear through tunnel might have been better because Dash did end up catching it, so the clear through left tunnel would have worked. Uh, Another thing is they could have. We could just recognize that this is a thing, that this is just how double stack operates. This is how aggressive double stack works. Is you cover one pass, you fake covering one pass, and you rush the other one as soon as the pass goes off. They could have just recognized that, called the bluff, and passed to me. That's probably something that we maybe should talk about. To be honest, is recognize when people are positioning like that with double stacks. But yeah, another thing maybe is one thing that I noticed when I first watched this back when you guys sent me the clips is Dash caught the disc and immediately pushed off. I feel like Dash could have not pushed off because he grabs the disc and immediately throws off the Geo, so he didn't really give himself any options. If he had juked backwards or gone for a duck or something, he maybe could have bought himself an extra half a second that he would have needed to find me. Uh, but instead he just basically instantly pushed off. He has the disc in his left hand too, so he can't throw it quite right away. So maybe a little bit of a misplay by Dash there. Uh, I mean, there's a bunch of things we could have done that are easy to say in hindsight, but like they played it really well. They played the aggressive backstack really well. They timed the pressure super well. Again, another thing, Saluna and Rosie could have done the split QB and tried to pass back and forth between the and kill the QB stack, which is what Fanam said in the chat. I think that's a little bit hard against a when you're playing a stacked pressuring QB, because then they can just split as well, and you've got a 2v2 on the ceiling between Game and Ryan and then Saloon and Rosie, which isn't the greatest, I think. So I don't know if that completely works against a chain pressuring the QB, but it is definitely something that they could have tried to give themselves a little bit more time. Uh, but yeah, I think the best play is probably to call the bluff and hit me, but that's a really hard play to make in the on the fly in the moment. So I mean, there's nothing more to say really. It was a really good play.
Yeah, I mean, I mean that's great. Like amazing that you can see that many different options and like potentials, even up to the last minute of Dash. Like, yeah, juking, maybe going backwards or sideways using the Geo as a shield. But also, I mean, like you say, I mean, this is an incredible defensive play by Ignite. Let's not get it twisted here.
My biggest takeaway was what you were talking about the play before and this play as well is that fake covering with this backstack, like fake covering them so that you know where like you're limiting their options. Could you talk a bit more about how you run that backstack on the 2-2 defense?
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's not so much as fake coverage as much as it is you're just making one pass seem completely unreasonable, right? Where they're like because if the pass like it's not really fake, because the sense that like, if they had passed it to me before the stack had jumped Dash, I would have gotten toasted even faster than Dash did, right? So like them being there is legitimately covering me, but it's also making the big thing it does is and the big thing that's the hardest part of backstack is getting the read, getting a prediction correct. Because if you're only ever reacting to throws, unless the like if we're only ever reacting to the QB's passes, unless the passes are really long, like if they're going from nest to like middle of tunnel or something, it's hard to get there in time to either get the pick or to basically get on the person who's receiving the pass right away. Uh, so like I lost my train of thought. Um, yeah, so we need to just like we need to try and get a read, and this what this does is it makes the read a lot easier. Is because I'm basically taken away as a pass because they're there. I know they're there, so I'm probably calling this. Actually, I was calling this. I remember this play. They obviously they don't even need me to call it because they can probably see this back stack because they gave Selena time when they backed off. So Selena's probably looking around scanning. She saw that the stack was there, so she decided to go to dash. Uh, and I don't know. That's just it makes the backstack positioning really well. They kind of gave themselves they narrowed it down. There was only really one thing that Selena was gonna do that she probably makes that pass to dash 80-90% of the time. Maybe she just goes for a clear randomly some like 10% of the time, but it's just the backstack is getting a really good they're just kind of locking up all our options. And this is maybe one of the downsides of the ace play is that because Saluna and Rosie are stacked, is that's one less pass, and so it's easier to narrow it down to a single pass that's our only option. But that's just the backstack positioning really well and doing exactly what do you want, what they needed to do.
Amazing. Amazing. All right. Well, we're already running just a little bit late, so I think we're gonna go ahead and take a break. Actually, before we do, yeah, let's go ahead and take a break, and we're gonna be back in like just 2 minutes. And welcome back, everybody. So now we've got a segment that we're going to be debuting and improving as time goes by. But for now, we're calling this the Boomer Buster Steez of the Week. So with that, I'm going to play this clip and hope you all enjoy. No audio. Dirty. Dirty.
Yeah.
Game on the backside, gets the regrab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think jukes like 8 times. Pretty steezy.
That's right. This is what Doc is going to call the 5-head play.
The 5-head Boomer Buster Steez of the Week.
That's right. Every week we're gonna feature one play, and this is it for this week. But as we're talking about it tonight, this is a good place to put it in there. All right. So, thank you so much for the Steez of the Week. We are going to now talk about community VODs. We're going to be taking a look at a few different teams. The first one is going to be Slothosaurus versus Space Bears. Now, what we're really looking for, we have a few clips set up. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to take a look at this play and then just get your feedback. You're on what your thoughts, and we have a few questions queued up. But really, just take a look at some of this. Again, these are some they're not diamond level players. A lot of these, I believe, Slothosaurus versus Space Bears are in like high bronze, like silver, around that range. So again, not as mechanically perfect. But again, just looking for some feedback from you, and then we'll go from there. Does that sound good?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. So, T-Tail, you want to, should we just like play it up and then we'll
Yeah,
rewind it?
yeah, we can. Yeah, that's perfect. I got a few notes that we can talk about here as well. The biggest thing is, there was a bit of a scramble. They got a possession recovery in tunnel that got into a clear, right? Got a missed shot that goes into a recovery. And then there's some cutting and scoring. So the biggest questions that were coming from this or little clip is, on that recovery and that clear, what are your thoughts on what teams should do, like how they should set up, especially in that bit of a scramble? They just got recovery and they cleared it, right? Like what?
This is coming off an orange joust. Is that correct? I think, or it's coming off for some clear in
I
the
believe it's
whatever it
from
is
a
in the joust.
clear from orange, so blue was able to recover it in tunnel.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, this is. I mean, from the, or I mean, this is whoever comes away with this is just a mechanical thing. I like. I mean, one, it's a lower ranked game, but two,
Mhm.
just in general, I don't really like to talk about mechanical stuff because there's not really much to talk about. It's just, oh, you should hit your shot, whatever. But so yeah, I mean, blue got the clear off. It was a good clear. Uh, you can see they do have their stack. Their stack's not going too fast, which is good. They stopped on the bow tie there to try and not like just blitz the disc. So that was a good job by them. They did end up getting split though, unfortunately. Uh, and then this is the biggest thing I think is this he grabs the disc here and then immediately turns into a defender and then tries to take a shot when he doesn't really have anybody in a position to try and recover or like nothing really else. This is kind of there's a goalie in that. This is not a shot you want to be taking, right? Uh, there is some spots where maybe if the goal is a little bit less open, where you could actually just take this or even just take it on the goalie. Those situations would be specifically if you have a teammate moving through across. Like if you had somebody, honestly, if you had somebody even like on the opposite Pac-Man there or on the opposite ceiling or opposite shoulder, I could see that being a reasonable pass just because, or a reasonable shot, just because they're in a position where like if you see the way the disc bounces, they're in a position to recover. So a lot of the things that you don't really think about when you're taking kind of wide angle shots or wide angle looks on the goal is if this goes bad, what's gonna happen? And if you have somebody just anywhere on the other side of the arena, taking the shot, especially if the time is low, like I guess they're up, so there's no really reason to take the shot at all. But uh, if they were down, for example, and you're taking the shot and you have somebody cross field, then pretty much anywhere they can get there and pick it up and make the recovery. And this shot is not nearly as bad as it was if you have somebody just on the cross to pick it up. Uh, but yeah, the shot probably should have been a back pass, unless there is somebody who's there to maybe make the recovery. Uh, but and then after the pass, after the shot, they do end up recovering anyway, which is good. A little bit lucky, but good. Uh, yeah, they do get it here. Um, and then they've got the one guy there, the VR from. I think this is another situation where that sort of bodyguarding I talked about would come into handy. Uh, where BG's kind of he's too close already to be a pass, right? He's like there's nothing he can do that really makes him a great pass option, and so him just diving on that player to give the his teammate a little bit more time. Probably especially if he kills either of those players, he opens up that cross pass to the cross block there That becomes a lot like that becomes a lot easier of a shot to hit is if at least one of those two players is killed, or at least at the very least it makes it look more appealing to the disc holder. But instead he kind of just goes forward and because he tries to be open for a pass, but again he's too close that like if the pass goes off, both those orange players could be on him within like one or two slaps off the ground, right? So he's still not really being a pass option there. Looks like he was the intended target anyway. Actually, if he catches this going, if he pushes off the ground and he catches this mid stride, this could be a really clean turn on the goal. I don't know. I don't remember if that's what happens or not. I think it goes cross.
It goes
Uh,
cross.
yeah, it goes cross. Okay. And then it goes to, and this is a situation where like that is or that was actually a pass. Okay, that was a good pass, finding the guy under the goal there, and then getting the goal there. So other than like that, the original recovery, something that I would I guess say just in general is that whenever you get a hold of the disc, pretty much unless you've looked around prior to receiving the pass and you know what your situation is, whenever you receive the disc, always make one or two like just jukes to the side, make a spin move, do something to gauge your surroundings and see like what you're actually looking at. Like that first uh recovery with the chain that ended up being a wild shot. It was a situation where the player didn't really have anybody directly on them. And so like taking even just 1 second to like do a spin and look around and realize that you have the two players on the route there, then you can slow it down and try and make a more informed play.
But what I'm
Yeah.
hearing is the major feedback for this team. There's like three main points, right? Like one is setting up cross if it goes bad, right? Just being there, getting ready for the recovery, right? I'm hearing about the bodyguarding, especially when they're clumped together, like just going there and just giving them more space. And I'm also hearing the juke on the recovery.
Yeah, just all things, especially at the low level. A lot of players get the disc and then they panic. You know, they get a little bit overwhelmed. They don't know what to do with it. And you can see like again, the player there gets panicked and just kind of turns and makes a just a shot. When he could have juked back towards his teammate, and then his teammate could have even gone for the kill on the defenders there as well, and trying to give him some spots into this pocket right below Pac-Man, and where he can look for a cross pass or something. Just trying to give yourself as much time as possible to make the correct play, because in these lower levels, you know, like everybody's playing against people of similar skill. You're rarely going to be getting pressured that hard right when you receive a pass, and so there's no reason to act like you've got Game and Ryan on you within like 0.25 seconds of receiving the pass, right? You got the pass, and even if you do get killed, like that's not gonna happen often enough that I would discourage you from just like pretty much take the disc, receive it, and then never do something immediately. Just always like take a second, try and orientate yourself with the arena, and 9 out of 10 times you're gonna end up making a better play out of it than you would have if you just try to act quickly. And then that 1 out of 10 time you're gonna get killed, but honestly, the 9 out of 10 times is gonna be more worth it.
And this is gonna be the clip, right? It's like if you panic clear, 9 out of 10 times, right? Listen to what Rox is saying right here. All
So
right.
again, there's basically there's two big opportunities here. One with the original clear here to use this space. If you look all around in this corner here, there's no one, there's no defender coming. So there's a lot of good space here to take some time and allow teammates to get into better spacing. And then instead of going forward, I totally feel like I feel this, man. So trees, do not feel called out, brother. Like this is me. Like you are me right here. Like I'm going for the goal. So I totally get it. But yeah, so that's a good note. So you can just go backwards. It's okay to it's allowed to go backwards in the game. Like it's kind of a funny thing to think about, but you can go backwards. And then right here again, this player could even go into this corner or backing up into here. BG could have helped out with a stun on either Voltron or Astro Samurai, who ends up putting a lot of pressure on. But at the end of the day, Trees does place himself in a really good position, gets the disc and scores. So
Yeah, and the player who made that pass actually did a pretty good job of he received the disc, and even though he had players on him for like he didn't have like players right on him, but he had people pretty close. He did back up into that pocket and he gave himself a little bit more time and found the pass. The whole bodyguarding thing, they would have given him more time and he maybe could have hit a little bit better of a cut. But like all in all, he played this pretty well. He received the disc, he backed up, he looked at who was on him, he moved away from them, he looked to where his passes were, and he ended up making the correct pass and getting that goal there.
Yeah, it's interesting. You think about lines like this player gets the disc there and goes here, but if they instead just went straight forward, which is obviously another indication, then like right here, Voltron and Samurai would have put the block on, but instead, because he keeps going off to the side, as you mentioned, gives himself just enough time, because Astro Samurai still ends up getting very close, but he
Yeah,
does get the pass off.
that was a really good job. I don't know if that was just sheer chance or what, but he got that disc off. One more like juke on the floor, and he would have gotten that stolen. Absolutely. So that was really good timing there.
Great.
All right, should we? What do you think, T-Tal? Should we go in another one?
Yeah, let's go on to the next one. I think this is great. So we'll do the same thing. We'll just take a look at this clip. This one is a little bit higher level. This is Team Dislocated versus Tachyon. This is actually round 2 overtime, and we're going to be taking a look at a neutral joust.
Oh,
So I'm
Yeah.
kicking it up,
Yep.
going
Yep.
to the overtime.
Oh, and shout out to Sertrees and like thank you so much for joining us in chat. We're looking at you. Again, we love you. So thank you so much for submitting the mod review. We're here for you. Oh, and Blend too. Cool, cool. Yeah. So we got a lot of the team here with us that you just analyzed. They're in the chat. They're able to talk about. If you guys have any feedback or anything specific, like Blend, like one of the question was that last pass down there on floor. It looked a bit like a bounce pass. You bounce it off floor. You got a feedback for it. Feel free to just post it and we'll talk about it. But let's set up for the Dislocated versus Tachyon.
Yeah, keep burn time.
Right time. All right, let's stretch this out. But yeah, Blend, Sertrees, type in chat that last second. You got that last second pass off. Tell us about it. I'm looking at chat right now.
it was a good pass. A lot of something that more people probably should do is especially when you're going for those narrow passes along the floor, along the wall. Instead of trying to get it straight to the other person, just bouncing it immediately makes it so much easier to read. Because if you throw it like kind of directly at them and it's a little bit off, it might bounce like right before it gets to them, and they might end up grabbing the floor accidentally or something. And so just getting the bounce out of the way, just bouncing it well before it gets even close to them, makes it a lot easier to read if you just hit the quick bounce quick earlier, so that they don't have to worry about like trying to read a bounce right before it goes into their hand or anything.
All right, I think I got it queued up here. Yep. All right, disc is in the center of the arena. It's 6-6, and the teams are going to come out of the tubes here.
Yeah, if you want, you can actually highlight Brad. This is submission by Brad, and we'll take a look. And you'll see
Okay, Brad is on the blue team, I
blue
believe. Yeah.
team. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so highlight Brad. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. He had a question. We'll watch the play and then I'll ask the question.
Okay. So Brad gets separated, and he's all the way at the back.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know, and we can look at the rest of the play, but the major question that we had was on some of those neutral jobs when it's so close. What's the best play there, especially when we're not sure not sure who's gonna win. And then the second question is when on that joust, as you saw, Brad got all the way sent back to the backfield and got split up from the stack. In that
Mhm.
situation, what should Brad be doing if he's stuck in the back by himself?
Um, well, I think what you should be doing is if even no matter how fast you're racing, uh, unless you're doing like a backwards joust, which it looks doesn't look like they are, you should still be looking to get that grab on that double diamond like his teammate does there. Like unless you like the angle from the disc or from the tube to the disc is such that like it's totally reasonable to be able to like as soon as you get there, pop a quick head boost and reach there, and you can see like his teammate got to it, and I think if he had put his arm down, he probably would have gotten there as well. Uh, but in this situation, as soon as you miss the block, you just call I'm lost or some like I call lost, but just some indication to his teammate that because his teammate stops there and then turns around and floats back, and I don't think his teammate ends up actually ever doing anything in the play. He just kind of floats back. The disc gets picked up. Yeah, he doesn't do anything. So that's something you have to just call to your teammate you're lost, and then his teammate who does stop should go try and bail it on, try and get him back into the play. Because again, like floating back by himself, he didn't have any impact on the play, right? There's nothing he didn't do anything by going back. And so calling out and getting back together and trying to get back in time is you're bringing two people back instead of one. And uh I would probably bet that they would get back quicker as well than him just free floating back from the other team's double diamonds. Depending on how fast their stack is, obviously. But I feel like they would get back there quicker than if he had just stopped and floated back like he did. Now, obviously, it ended up putting him in a pretty good solution to recover this clear,
Mhm.
which is lucky, and they ended up winning off of it. But that's just his teammates made a good stop, and he was luckily able to recover it. That's you can't say you predicted that or anything. Obviously, and he wouldn't be asking the question if he was. So yeah, I think just either trying to get the block, just don't get lost in the first place, obviously. But and one thing that I have found in terms of not getting lost is usually if you're, because not everybody, we all make mistakes sometimes. Uh, Sometimes you just miss the double diamond, you can't get there in time, whatever it is. Usually, though, what I find is that if you're too far to the left to grab the double diamond, you're absolutely far enough to the left to grab the nugget. And so like there's I think there's pretty much no window where if you're too far to the side that you can't hit double diamond, you can't get to it, you should be able to grab the nugget block and turn around like that, and then it makes getting back to your teammate a little bit quicker, who's waiting on double diamond for you.
Yeah. Also, if he grabs the nugget, he may be able to get in the path of these guys
That's another good point.
and
Yeah.
Peach.
Yeah, just looking for something because I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell in the situation what exactly he was looking for, what exactly he was looking at. But I mean, he missed the grab on double diamond. It's whatever. You got to get a grab somewhere else because he flies. He's probably within grab range of double diamonds or of bow tie there. He's not within grab range of nugget actually. It looks like, but I think that's because he was within grab range of double diamond and just missed it.
Mhm.
But yeah, using a head booster to the side, like a quick flick of the head and a head booster tap, can move you sideways really fast. So he definitely should have been able to get to some sort of geo and turn around a little bit quicker. And that might have been why his teammate left him, is because he missed every block. But I think even if your teammate misses literally everything and goes all the way to the back wall, it's still in your best interest, like in his teammate's best interest, to go and try and pick him up and get him back into the play.
Could you just say that again? Because one of the things I see a lot of players do that I absolutely cannot do is change my momentum, change my direction very quickly when I'm moving quickly. So you're saying if you, what did you say, move your head and booster at the same time?
So, yeah, so the way that the thruster works, not the wrist thrusters obviously, but like the head, the back thruster, it pushes you. I assume this is common knowledge, maybe not. It pushes you in the direction of your vision, right? So center of your vision, that's where you're going, right? That's where the vector gets drawn. It has nothing to do with like your body orientation or anything. So just like flicking your head to the side, or even like a full 90 degrees, and just double tapping that back booster can hook you really fast. Like you can if you're going at if you do it properly and you're going 10 meters a second, you can use the back thruster and hook a full U-turn through the bubble and go back to your own side without dropping any speed. That's actually something you can do if you like
No
time it properly and
way.
position it properly. It's hard. It's not super useful because usually you try to get a thing with yourself, but that's absolutely like using your back thruster to be able to maneuver yourself. Just a quick head flick and then tapping it. If you time it well, you can just kind of you can maneuver yourself so much better if you're moving at fast speeds.
You heard it here. If you don't know, now you know, players.
Yo, we gotta get the hip hop like soundtrack in the background. Just tap it. Give it.
Ooh.
No, that's we're definitely gonna clip that 100%. That was awesome. All right.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you, we've got about 10 more minutes before we close the stream. I don't think we're gonna queue up another clip. But if you got questions in the chat, I know. Well, you can redeem some channel points. One of the questions that rocks that we wanted to ask that we didn't get a chance to ask in the beginning was, do you have any good? Do you have any great like drills, either solo or team drills that you recommend for players?
Uh, as far as solo goes, there's not really too much you can do. You kind of just practice shots. Instead of just doing what a lot of players do and just kind of just like ripping your personal disc from the tunnel over and over again. Obviously, that's still helpful for hitting tunnel shots, but hitting different angles and using the regular disc and just throwing it, taking the shot, waiting for it to bounce somewhere, and then taking the shot from wherever you get it from. You know, so you're putting yourself in dynamic angles. Force yourself to throw it quickly. So like you to just like grab the real disc. You know, the one that you can't respawn. Just take a shot, whatever it misses goes in, whatever happens. Uh, Recover it as quickly as possible, which will help you with your reads a little bit, and then just immediately take the next shot. Take it on whatever momentum you've got, whatever you grab it at. Just take the next shot. It'll help you more with taking those tighter angle shots. Usually, this you won't end up taking as long shots doing this because the disc won't bounce that far before you get to it. But it will help with a lot of those closer range threes that are maybe in a bit more of awkward positions, above the goal, below the goal, fading back, going sideways, whatever. It helped more with that, which I think is more useful than just being able to hit consistent tunnel shots, in my opinion. So that's something that I would think if you're gonna do something, if you're by yourself and you have nothing else to do and you're just practicing shots. Obviously, tunnel shots are still important, and pressing those with the personal disc is still useful. But you can mix that in too, and it'll help you out with some of those more clutch 3 pointers that you can get.
I like that. I think I saw on a Venom video a similar recommendation, and one of the things he pointed out was you also get to learn how to read the disc, and how
Mhm.
it bounces in the arena, which is like obviously a really key and like in my opinion, underrated skill. I mean, we saw even at the highest level, game and Ryan, I believe, on that rollout, they barely missed that read on that disc, right? And if they had gotten that read, then you guys don't score on that play. So even at the highest level, you see people, not be able to read the disc. Like when you're moving that fast, it's just really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in terms of like team stuff, I would usually when people are practicing boosting, they just go back and forth between nests or between top tunnels or whatever. Something that most people do, but not everyone does. I guess I'll throw it out there. Is you make a figure eight between the 4 Pac-Men, and you just kind of just go hourglass shape, figure eight shape, whatever. We just call them figure eights. It helps you a little bit more with changing direction. I think it's just better because you still get like long distance for practicing speed, but it helps a little bit more with control than just doing 180s and stuff. So that's something that I guess if you're going back and forth between nests, then just do that instead. It's just better. Uh, but yeah, I don't know.
There was actually one drill that you showed me that you talked about like a while back, the 1v2, and dude, I've been running it
Hmm.
almost every
Yeah,
day at this point, man. Dude, I love it. It's
1v2s are fun. It's a fun drill too. Just having one person with the disc start at like bow tie, and then just try and one defender, one goalie, and just try and score. It's super easy. You can make a game out of it. You can just like how many times that like we usually do out of 10. You give the person with the disc 10 attempts to try and score 1v2, and you see who can get the best record, or whatever. It's fun. It's obviously it helps you in tons of different situations because you can control the situations you're putting yourself in. It's super useful, and yeah, it's a really good one.
So you just do that. That's fun, yeah. So you just do that one, like obviously not when the game clock is running, right? So you don't have to reset. You just like in the
Yeah, yeah,
training
yeah.
mode.
Yeah, none of the stuff I mean, obviously the other two, but none of them you do in the game clocks run. You just kind of keep track of it mentally and stuff.
I think the hardest part of that drill, by the way, is keeping track of how many like times people scored. It's like whenever we start getting into it, it's like, I think you took 7 shots and you made three. Did you take 8 or 7? Like that,
Yeah.
like
Usually the goalie's the one keeping track, or just whoever's the best at keeping tracks.
yeah,
I'm usually the one who's better at keeping track than the people I play with. But you just kind of you call like 0 for 3 or whatever. You just every time you just hit him with the tennis serving style where you just call out the score
yeah.
just every time, and it helps. It's kind of it can kind of turn into a little bit ribbing each other. It's like 0 for 5, 0 for 6. You keep trying to come in, you just keep stopping them. But it's I don't know. That's how it's fun. It's I don't know, it's a lot of fun doing that.
Oh, that's perfect. That tennis style is perfect. Yeah, we definitely got to do that. Like it was definitely so messy sometimes. Like 0 for 5. Yeah, I'm definitely going 0 for 6, 0 for 7 sometimes. It's like son of a gun.
Yeah, one of the
Yeah, switch
jokes we
defenders.
had.
Yeah, switch
One
defenders.
one of the jokes we had was while game was going back and forth between Quest and CV1, like learning the different heads and stuff. He ended up he got like he went like 5 for 10 like 2 or 3 times. We just kept calling him the 50% shooter, and that kind of got under his skin a little bit. But it was really funny. 'Cause whenever he misses a shot, he's like, "I guess I'm just a 50% shooter, man. Just missed a shot, only hits him 50% of the time." And that was a lot of fun.
Okay. Okay, so here's a question. Like what should people aim for in terms of,
Improvement.
X.
Aim for doing better than you did when you started the drill. Do it for like an hour, and hopefully you can just if you break it up into sets of 10, it also helps you like measure improvement. If you start the day coming off cold, not even off of pubs or warms or anything, you just do that, and you go like 1 for 10 or something, and then you end up going 4 for 10, 5 for 10, whatever. The biggest thing is that like it's hard to like aim for a certain score because the drill helps both sides. It's not just helping the guy who's striking on the 1v2. It's helping the defenders, it's helping the goalie, it's helping everyone. So ideally, like the number doesn't really change, or it goes up and down, it fluctuates. And that's kind of a measure of like just breaking it up into sets of 10 or sets of 12 or however many you want to do, it doesn't matter. Just breaking it up and like scoring it like that helps track progress, helps measure progress, and helps people kind of like if the striker goes like 6 for 10, and then the next set he goes like 3 for 10, he's like, okay, I gotta change something, I gotta fix something, I'm getting red, like something is happening that like needs to be changed, and that can also be a good mindset for going into games where you realize that like I'm getting stuffed. I've been stuffed 3 or 4 times in this game. I need to start changing something. I need to do something different, and that mindset just transfers over from that drill as well, really well.
That's perfect. I think this is Doc, you got anything else?
Well, I first of all, I wanna thank Rox. Thank you, man, for so much. Like, this has been so much fun. Anything that you want to plug, or anything you're working on, or yeah, anything you want to give a shout out to?
Not really. I have a Twitter. I have a Twitch account. I don't really use anymore. I have a YouTube. I don't really use anymore. My YouTube does have a lot of older games that I've kind of gone through in the similar style as we did earlier, where they pick a couple clips and go through them in depth. Uh, so that's something that you can look at if you want more stuff like this. Is my YouTube channel. All my socials are Rocks Titan. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Dope. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you spread the good word. This is the first of a community discussion. We've had a lot of good folks in the chat. Original, obviously, Cool Whip, Dingus, Blend, Real, Call Me Coms, Sanchezi, who made our awesome intro music. Obviously Rosie was in doing a little bit of roasting. I think we're hoping to have Rosie on pretty soon. We got Blend, we got Martini, we got Sir Trees, Nolan FK. So yeah, Liz the developer also. Yes, Phenom. Just yeah, thanks everybody for showing up, and yeah, I think with that, yeah, say. Well, yeah, Clink One. Looks like we're gonna have original. I love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Uh, so with that, yeah, T-Tal, anything you want to say before we
Yeah.
before we close down our inaugural Playmaker stream?
Yes, the final thing is just shout out to Veritas Media. Like you guys really helped us so much in developing this. As you can see, some of the playmakers, all this, it's such a great production, especially help from Newton Dad and Queen, like Can Cool Whip. This is very much a passion project from all of us, and I really appreciate you guys.
Totally, yeah. All the scenes that you see are Newton Dad. The Playmakers logo is Paranym. So if you need a logo, she can always do it. The JG with the video clip. And also yeah, Queen Queen, formerly Queen Cap, now Queen Zyla, or Mommy Queen, the queen of all of us. Helped a lot with the scheduling and such. Also, we have to give another shout out to the Echo Replay viewer. I'll send another link to that. That was the tool we're using. So if you want to be featured on the show, get Spark, record an Echo Replay file and send it to us. Let us know what you want us to look at, and we'll get a big brain like Rox in, and a couple, and T-Tao and I, a couple of goofy dudes will help you, see some different views, different angles. That's what we're here for.
And as you're talking about some of the community VOD, I do want to just plug in sort of my server in my community. Right now, it's still called TT's Boot Camps, but we're doing a server name change. It's going to be called Echo Arena Nation. And it's just more of a fun, very positive community. And that's where that's where I'm going to be doing a lot of events, especially training events. And we're going to have like a ticket system and figure out how we're going to do VOD. So please check us out as well. We'll provide the links later on in the below. But yeah, I think this is a good wrap, man. This is great first premiere. Really loving it.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks, Rox. Thanks again. We're here Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Go until about this time, about 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, until about 9:45 Eastern, 6:45 Pacific. So thanks everybody, and we will see you next week.